Alright, so today our section that we're going to be talking about are rational numbers. So, what are rational numbers? So rational numbers are any number that can be written as a fraction. For example, I could do 0.87. That can be written as a fraction. Or negative 23. That can be written as a fraction. Or 2/3. These are just some examples of rational numbers. So let's define a couple of rational numbers. Let's start from the inside of this little diagram. So we have whole numbers. Whole numbers are integers because they're in the integer box, and they're also rational numbers because they're also in the rational box. So basically, what is a whole number? So a whole number is any number that is 0 or greater. So whole numbers are 1 or 2 or 3, continuously going up. Any whole numbers which also include 0. Now integers, if you know, we have a number line. Any number that's on that number line, whether it be 0 and the numbers to the right of 0, or even the numbers to the left of 0, those numbers are called integers. The number line is basically, could also be called the integer line. So we are also going to be adding in the like -1 or -3 or -100. Now rational numbers are any number that can be written as a fraction. So this also includes numbers like 2/3 or 0.5 or 1 7/8. See, because these numbers are not integers, they're not whole numbers, so they are still rational numbers because they can be written as a fraction. Alright, so now we're going to write a mixed number as a fraction. This is a two-step process, which I think you should be able to catch on. So let's look at the first one. We have 6 1/6. So we take our denominator, which is 6, and multiply it by the whole number, which is also 6. So we would do 6 times 6, which is 36, and we add that together with 1, which is in the numerator. So we do 6 times 6, which is 36, plus 1, which is 37. Now we take whatever the denominator was, and we put that down at the bottom. So 6 1/6 is the same as 37/6. So let's try it again. If we have 4 2/3, we multiply 3 times 4, which is 12. Then we add 12 plus 2, which is 14. We take the denominator, whichever that is, which is 3, and we add that in. So our improper fraction that we have from the mixed number 4 2/3 is the exact same as 14/3. Now I want you to try it. I want you to turn this mixed number into an improper fraction. Pause the video, unpause the video to see the way that I've done it. Alright, so if we have 7 3/4, remember, multiply the denominator with the whole number. 7 times 4 is 28. 28 plus 3 is 31. So we take whatever the denominator is, add that. So 7 3/4 is the exact same as 31/4. So how do we write an integer as a fraction? Remember, an integer is just basically any number that is on the number line. This is the easiest thing that I can teach you. How do you write an integer as a fraction? Well, if we have negative 23, you put negative 23 over 1. 15 over 1. 22 over 1. 7 over 1. 1,000 over 1. What do they all have in common? You always, to make any number a fraction, any integer a fraction, all that you have to do is put it over 1. The denominator is going to be 1 in each case. So now we're going to write some terminating decimals as fractions. This is where it helps to know the place value of the decimal that you're working with. So this first one that we have 64 hundredths. If this is the hundredths section, we can rewrite it as 64 over 100. What also might help, if it's a little shortcut, if it helps you remember, there are two numbers past the decimal point. So you're going to need 2 zeros in the denominator. So this is 64 over 100. This is not the final answer. Remember, you must simplify it. So I do know that the greatest common factor of both 64 and 100 is 4. So let's do the multiplying and or dividing method. So we are going to actually divide both the numerator and the denominator by 4, because whatever you do to the top number, you always have to do to the bottom number. So 64 divided by 4 is 16, and 100 divided by 4 is 25. I know that these two cannot be reduced anymore, so our final answer is 16/25. So 64 hundredths is written as a fraction as 16/25. Now if we look at this at the next one, we have 9 and 675 thousandths. So this is thousandths. So the one thing that we can do, we don't really have to do anything with this 9, so we can just put it off to the side. So we just have 9 off to the side. Now we need to figure out how to write 675 thousandths as a fraction. So remember, I said thousandths, so we are going to need 675 thousandths in thousand in the denominator. What also helps, there are 3 digits after the decimal point, so you will need 3 zeros in the denominator as well. I do know that this is not simplified. It looks like you can, the greatest common factor of 675 and 1000 is 25. So if you divide the numerator by 25 and the denominator by 25, let's see here, 675 divided by 25 is 27, and 1000 divided by 25 is 40. The reason why I just knew it was 25 was I looked in the book to see the example, and it said that it was by 25. Remember, if 675 and 1000, these both are divisible by 5, so you could just start whittling it down until you see that there's not another greatest common factor. But I now know that 27 40ths is the lowest that this can be reduced. So we still have our 9 off to the side, so we have to rewrite it as 9 and 27 40ths. So this is our final answer. So now it's your turn. I want you to pause the video, unpause the video to see what I have done. Alright, so I have 0.84, or it can be read as 84 hundredths. So if we write this as a fraction, it would be 84 over 100. So we need to find the greatest common factor between 84 and 100, which it looks like we can divide both of them by 4. So if we divide the numerator by 4, we also have to divide the denominator by 4. So 84 divided by 4 is 21, and 100 divided by 4 is 25. So I know that 21 over 25, or 21 25ths, cannot be reduced anymore. So 21 25ths is our answer. So let's look at 3 and 3.625, or 3 and 625 thousandths. So remember, this 3 can just come off to the side. Let's just move it over to the side for now. Now we have 625 thousandths. We can write that as 625 over 1,000. Now, if we try to work and solve that through, I just know, just from looking in the book and seeing what the answer is, that both 625 and 1,000 are divisible by 125. Just to save some time, you could just whittle your way down, divide both of them by 5, and then see where it goes from there. But 625 divided by 25 is, or divided by 125 is 5. 1,000 divided by 125 is 8. So we need to bring back down our 3, bring down our 5/8, combine them together. 3 and 5/8 is the fraction that we come up with for 3 and 625 thousandths. So when we are writing repeating decimals as fractions, I'm going to show you the reasoning behind it. You do not have to write this down. So if we have 0.6 with a bar over top of it, it's going to be written as 2/3. But let me show you just a little thing behind it. So if we have the n, and that n is going to be equal to 0.6666666, and it's repeating this whole time. What I want to do, n is going to represent just any number. So what I want to do right now is to multiply both sides by 10. So if I multiply both sides by 10, I'm going to have 10n is equal to 6.6666, and it continues. So all that this was the decimal point moved over one spot to the right. Now, what I would be doing is I want to subtract 10n. I'm going to subtract 10n is equal to 0.66666, which repeats. I'm going to subtract that from the first equation, is equal to 0.66666, continues. If I subtract that, this 10n, we have 1 in here, so 10n and 1n is equal to 9n. And if we have, if all of these 6's all start canceling out, all we have that's left is this 6. So to solve for n, we have 9n is equal to 6. If we divide by 9, this is a one-step equation. So we have n is equal to 6/9. If we reduce that, n is equal to 2/3. Because if we divide by 3 in the numerator and the denominator, n is equal to 2/3. So the thing is, if we have, this is the important part, you need to write this down. If we have a decimal that repeats, it is always over 9 or 99. So if we have 0.6 repeating, it would be 6 over 9. If we have 0.23 repeating, it would be 23 over 99. Instead of 23 over 100 like we're used to, if it's repeating, it's 23 over 99 instead. So, from the previous slide, we have learned if there is a repeating decimal and you want to write it as a fraction, the denominator that you're going to be using is not 10 or 100 or 1,000. It would be either 9 or 99 or 999. So, in this case, we have 5/10. If we have 5/10 instead of using, or we have 5/10 repeating. So, instead of using the 10 in the denominator, we would use a 9 in the denominator. So, it looks like 5 and 9, there is no greatest common factor between them. So, 5/9 is our fraction when it comes to writing 5/10 repeating. So let's look over at the second one. We have 0.42 or 42 hundredths. That is repeating. The 4 and the 2 repeat. So instead of writing 42 over 100, we would write 42 over 99. Now, is this in the simplest term? No, it is not. So, we would have to find out what is the greatest common factor between 42 and 99. And I believe that it is 3. So, we'll divide the numerator by 3 and the denominator by 3. So, let's go with the easiest one first. Let's go with the denominator. 99 divided by 3 is 33. And 42 divided by 3 is 14. And I know that there aren't any other common denominators, so our final answer is 14/33. So now I want you to try it. I want you to pause the video, unpause the video when you're ready to see what I have done. So, if we look at the first one, we have 0.161616161616. What's the one thing that's repeating? The 1/6. This could be easily rewritten as 0.16 repeating. So instead of writing 16 over 100, we could write 16 over 99. So 16/99 is that in simplest terms. So it looks like 16/99 is the simplest fraction because 3 can't go into 16. These aren't even, or 99 isn't an even number. 4 can't go into 99. So 16/99 is our final answer. Now let's look at the one off to the right. We have 9 and 36 hundredths, and there's the repeating bar over top of the 36. So this 9, just put it off to the side. Now we write 36 hundredths. Remember, since it's repeating, we don't put 36 over 100. We put 36 over 99. So this isn't fully reduced. So let's see here. If we have 36 divided by 99, I know that we would be able to divide both our numerator and denominator by 9, because 36 divided by 9 is equal to 4, and 99 divided by 9 is 11. So I know 4/11ths, there isn't a greatest common factor for those. So now we have, and for the final answer, we have 9 4/11.